Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Let's see here. Who's here today? Yolanda. Hi, Bridget. Hey, Erin from DMV area. Hey, Brenda. Gretchen, North Carolina. So, Lachey, this is Karis. We went to Waco. So she sent me a boatload of pictures. That's where the picture came from last week too. That I put in Patreon. Every now and then, I did a photo shoot of myself with a tripod, and some of those came out okay. I need to use some of those, but this is from my phone because I was like, oh, Karis took some pictures. Let me use some of those. Hi, April Whitfield and Yolanda. Let's see, Claudia Clausen, Lola Cadet, Life at Pecan Lodge. Hi, Lydia Henson, Cheryl Hutcherson. Good, you're getting your walk in. That's awesome. Hi, Yolanda. Patricia, glad to see you all here. Welcome. Some of y'all I know. Hi, Erin. You're in South Carolina, California. Okay. Skin is clear. Thank you. Miss Levon from Ohio. Hi, Deneen. Amy. Glad you all are here. Hi, Janita Joseph. Glad to see you, girl. Nerlene. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. I have some pre-talk here because I'm going to try not to talk for 2 hours today because it's Labor Day weekend, right? We all have a little bit of extra time. I'm sitting here in the main area of our office because, like, do I need more light? Because this is where I was set up this weekend. What did I do this weekend? Oh, so the studio office where I have my yellow chair is a little junky right now. So it was just easier for the Saturday group coaching that we had with our coffee level to just pull everything out here. And then my dad had a Zoom call yesterday. So I pulled that out here. Let him sit out here. And then this morning, this is where it's at. So I brought my computer back in here and sat down. So that's the view from behind. I'm going to turn on a light. I'm trying to figure out, like, I've got daylight coming in here, but let me just turn on another light and see if that's helpful. Hold on. Okay. I don't know that made any difference, but we'll go with it. Okay. Good morning. Yeah, and then I thought, let me change it up on them. They don't need to feel like they know everything. Every now and then I need to just do a little something different. Keep y'all hopping. Okay, good. I see many of you here that are not usually able to make the lives, so I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to have to be still. This little webcam, this is not my normal camera. This little webcam is like, Chrystal, you're moving. All right, so here are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. First of all, can we just all say that Beyonce turned 40? I mean, as I live and people that I have grown up with share their ages, or maybe they're like a child star who has kids and they're like actually married, or people that I grew up watching when I was younger, they pass away. It's a reflection of where I am in life. Mary Tyler Moore passed away in the last week or two in her 90s. A long life, but still, it's like Mary Tyler Moore. Um, Letha, that's the way to watch, hon, from the bed. Trust me, if I could do this from the bed. I mean, I technically could, but I try to look intentional. Um, so Beyonce turned 40. Um, Lavon said she's still a baby. Well, I just was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in the last year of my 40s. And there was this something I saw on Instagram where it was a little video of her talking about what she wanted to have done before she was 40. And the list of things that she has done. I mean, she was just listing off things. And as this video went on, the things that she listed out, it took B-roll, extra video on top of her voice with her doing it. And so at the end, it was like, express the things that you want to do, express those things, and put them out there. Dream about them. I know vision boarding is a whole thing. Writing them out. Y'all know I'm a believer in writing things down. Keeping, the Yo Play lady, keeping your bathing suit in front of you. There's something about saying, expressing, illustrating, showing to yourself or to other people what you really want to do, and that being connected to accomplishing it. It's not magic, but it is definitely connected. If there are things you want to achieve, for you to express those and keep them in front of your mind some way. It's you've heard me talk before about the reticular activation system and how what your brain focuses on is what comes into view. It's not that it was in view. It's that it's always been in view. It's always been possible. It's always been doable. It's just we don't keep it in view. And so right now I'm trying to decide, we're not going to do an online event this fall. There's a lot going on. And so in my desire to be realistic about what I can do and what we can do as a team, if we do anything this fall, it'll be, and I'm pondering it now, just do I have the space for it? Does the team have the space for it? In the midst of a lot of transition. But I have thought about, some of y'all have purchased it. It's a course called Live a Life You Love. And that was the first course, and it's due for a refresh. But one of the things I love doing is small things. And so I've been thinking about doing a live, I don't even know if I would call it a course. It would be a live event. I don't know. But the point would be to call it Reinventing a Life You Love, and let's do it together. So I would teach, either play some of the content from the course, but the point is we do it together. So one of the ideas I had, because I've been brainstorming with the girls, like, what can we do? What do we have the bandwidth to do? Like in that course, I don't just want us to listen and watch together. I want us to interact. So there's a part in there where I talk about like, who are you, and how personality tests give you language for yourself. And so, like, I say that in the course, what I would want to do in this live experience together is then give you links to go take the tests and then come back and then let's discuss it. Like, put you into Zoom groups and then discuss, what did you learn about yourself, and have 3 questions that you answer in a group. And then we come back to the live teaching. So that's one of my thoughts. And then another example of that would be that there's a time. So one of our interns, we have second year interns. Every year we've had interns that want to stay on. The 2020 interns were the only group that I have allowed. I say allowed because, y'all, my interns work for free. And I'm always concerned that after a year, even if they say they want to do it, that after a year, something will set in and just not make it good. They were so instrumental in 2020. The 2020 interns were so instrumental in so many things that we started and got going and developed, like the inner circle, like the courses in the inner circle. So I said, okay. So Brittany, one of our second year interns, is she has a gift of planning events and parties and such. And our intern retreat this year that we normally have in February was virtual. And so the question is, how do we make this as engaging as possible? And one of the things that she did, you know how you can do painting with a twist? Painting with a twist. So she mailed everybody boxes. And so live on Zoom, we did painting. We did a painting class. So there was a video, and I say my box to paint with is still in I don't know what was going on. I think that was the week that my pipes burst. So I couldn't participate. I just kind of watched. It was a lot going on that week. And so anyway, I thought, okay. And that was a great experience. We were like on Zoom for over 2 hours painting together. So I was like, what could we do together? And then I thought, could we do vision boarding together? So we talk about this all the time, like writing things down, putting things in front of you. Could we have, because I really believe that the next season of our getting togetherness in life, it's like churches. Churches are going back, but they spoiled us by being able to go to church online. So even if your church wasn't online before, it probably is now some kind of way. And so churches that were not trying to stream, are now having to. And actually, it's more work because now your regular team that was in person, now that was not in person and could focus on being online, now has to focus on doing both. Hybrid events, y'all, is a whole situation. It's a lot of work. But I believe in this next season, that's what people will have to do. If you want to be a viable, no, you don't have to, not all of them. Some experiences definitely will lend itself to in-person and in-person alone. But I do think there's a whole market now for hybrid events that did not exist. And I think that when you do not have an in-person event, the other version of that is a interactive event. So it's online, but y'all, we are sick of Zoom. We're sick of it. So the question is, how can we make interactive events that are online when we can't be in person and when it's not realistic, but where we're still able to not be, lulled to sleep by the screen? Like, what are we doing in person to make it engaging? It's kind of like, teachers, you learn how to teach to all the learning styles. You've got visual learners, tactile learners, audio processors. You've got kids that have musical intelligence and, all these different kinds of intelligences. How do you capitalize on how a child will best learn the information? Well, all of us know that some of our best teachers were interactive teachers. They're going to ask questions of people in the class. They're going to show us a video. They're going to, they're going to teach without just talking to us. Now, if it's a charismatic teacher and maybe they keep us laughing or keep us crying one of the things I've learned as a speaker is that emotional engagement from your audience is important. So if you're talking to them, I watched this one, let's see, I'll have to find it. There was this TED Talk where this lady, I watched it. In fact, we show a piece of it at our speaker and writer workshop when we've done that in person. And let's see, best speeches. Anyway, this lady, she makes a living teaching people how to give the best speeches and also helping them with their presentations. She gave this crazy, wonderful presentation during her talk. And I was thinking, one day I'm going to grow up and do that. I'm going to grow up and actually have, visual support for what I do. The amount of preparation for that is just ridiculous because now you have to not only find great images, create great images, you also have to be able to not just practice what you want to say or know what you want to say, but then have those images timed. The best that I've been able to do is at the beginning of my talk, I have pictures of my family and I share those, and there's kind of a rhythm and a script that I have with that. And then I jump into my talk and I don't, I think my dad is a great speaker. He's an animated speaker, and he keeps everybody's interest that way. But I do think we're in a season where interactivity, as we all know, in the classroom, in church, online, like teaching, that mechanism, having a level of interactivity is how we are leveling up the online experience. So I've been thinking about that, and I'm looking at your comments. Levon said, we do both, and it's definitely a labor of love. Yes, even pastors' wives are behind and in front of the camera in working technology. Ask me how I know. Yep, Brenda says, we'll be hybrid. Yes, Erica, teachers have to do it all. Yeah, hybrid is a lot of work, but it is really good. Yeah, because here's one of the things, like all this time, people that were sick and shut in couldn't come to church. So now, if I'm a member, or not even, but especially if I'm a member, if I'm a tithe paying member and I'm not well, I have a chronic illness, I'm a caregiver for someone, I can still feel like I'm a part of church. So anyway, I just think but y'all just, pray for me and pray for our team. We've got some new people. Terry said, yeah, I was spoiled by online church, So I would love to try it out and make that the online event for the fall. Keep it simple. It's just Chrystal. Normally in the online events, I am not the feature speaker. I feature other speakers. And we've had, anywhere from 20 to 40. And I do kind of an opening for our summit, but that's it. I just kind of host. So this would be, let's simplify. Let's just do Chrystal so that it's manageable for our team, manageable for me. And then let's see. So I'm praying about that because y'all know I also have a book due. So this is the link to the greatest speeches, the secret structure of great talks. It is a great video, Nancy Duarte. And she's using visual support in her talking. So anyway, I'm thinking about it, y'all. So y'all pray. Yolanda said, help us level up. Yes, he does. Pastor Evans is a different speaker, isn't he, Miss Brenda, when he's preaching to a live crowd? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that's number one, what I'm thinking about for the fall. But I said all that because getting your goals in front of you and keeping them in front of you is a part of keeping them on your mind, and keeping them on your mind is how you functionally keep your mind working on your goals, right? So if you can keep it in front of you, I have so many different mechanisms of lists and things, but we use Asana as a team for our tasks and how we get things done. I've been told that I may need to look into ClickUp. Alexis, one of the girls who has done a lot of organizational structure and support for us, is like, girl, you got to get out of Asana. I'm like, I can't do it right now. It's like, when you're trying to move, you're like, I can't, like if there's too many things going on in your personal life, it's like, no, I can't move right now. It's too many things going on. It's like, that's how I feel, getting all of our junk out of Asana and into another system. But normally every day, y'all, pen and paper works. I am a digital and a paper planner. I do both. I think there's something magical that happens when you write it down, but there's something awesome that happens when you can carry your plans with you. So that requires a system, but I am working hard to try to get all the things done in the near future. But keeping them in front of me, digitally or analog, is important. And I hope you know that, and I hope you do that. Write your dreams down, put them in front of you, put them on the mirror, put them somewhere where you will see them. Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to talk about, Beyonce turning 40. Here's the other thing I wanted to talk about this morning, Sunday dinner. So yesterday was Sunday dinner. My sister has the video of my father, his birthday. I got to get that from her, else I'd show that to you this morning. His birthday is Friday. He will be 72. And so yesterday was our first, Sunday dinner. We always have Sunday dinner together on first Sundays. And because of COVID, we used to do it at the church. Because of COVID, I was like, y'all, let's do dinner together. This is dumb. And so I've started hosting it. We do cater it. We all pitch in, and so that I'm not stressed out cooking dinner for everybody. My mom did that for years, and then with the growing of our family, we would have 30 people over on any given Sunday. She started doing it differently, so we do have it catered. But I do, set up, and I make sure we have all the side things, and then I want to put a touch of Chrystal in there. So there's a special little punch that I make that the kids like, and maybe I'll make a warm dessert, or you make a fresh salad. But just stuff, the paperware, setting up, cleaning up, getting flowers so that it looks celebratory, that kind of thing. There's still work involved. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of hostess I want to be. That's what I need. That's what I want to talk about this morning. I want to be, on the one hand, I want to be the welcoming mom, auntie, grandmother who tells everybody to come in and relax and enjoy yourself. And I want people to have that experience, and I want people to be able to come and create memories and enjoy themselves, right? But on the other hand, I don't want to be resentful for doing all the work. And I just feel like I'm trying to decide who I'm going to be, because I have met and have known women who've done all the work. And then as a kid, as a teenager, as a 20-something, as a 30-something, I just came home from college and didn't do anything. It's like I relaxed and enjoyed it. Not that I didn't do what I was asked to do, but there wasn't a sense of needed participation. I think now maybe I was a little spoiled and a little entitled, because I don't like that. I don't know that I want to have the kind of home where people come over and don't do anything. Now, my sister, my cousin, my sister-in-law, they'll come in and, the obligatory, can we help you with anything? But I also, in that moment, feel like sometimes it's harder to tell them what to do than for me just to do it myself, But I was just thinking, what do I want? Because we used to have this dinner at church, like after church, at church in a side room. And so now at our house, it's honestly better, because the kids, the kids are freer. They're not having to keep it down in a side room. We have a pool. They can get in the pool. They can run around outside. The boys play basketball. To me, it's better, which means this may not be just a COVID thing. It may be like an ongoing thing. And I'm just trying to decide what I want to communicate. Like, I almost feel like it's a slight disservice that we have the whole thing catered. Like, I don't want to put the stress on everybody to have to bring a meal. Like, every month you got to bring a meal. But I also feel like that's where the kids learn. Like, that's where they learn how to make a dish. That's where the boys learn to take out the trash. That's where, the kids learn after we've all eaten to put the chairs back outside. Like, it's a opportunity to learn. But I'm trying to figure out I'm about to put y'all to work, and I'm trying to figure out how can I communicate that to the people where it's not like, oh, God. And here's what made me think about it. One of my nieces, because one of the sister girls here, one of the keepers of the Evans legacy. That's what I always say. We're the keepers. She brought her daughter up to me and she said, what you do is you're supposed to say, Chrissy. So all the kids call me Chrissy, even my grandkids. Chrissy, is there anything I can help you with? And I said, she asked me, and then she said, I said, yes, actually, I need to cut up some lemons and put them in this punch that I make. And I saw her go, which is fine. I saw her go, like she's actually going to ask me to do something. And so, and that's what got me to thinking about it. And I think my feeling of doesn't come from doing it all, because y'all, I'm not doing that much. I mean, I do, I have the list to go through of, you got to get the ice cream and, the things that I have to go to the store. Somebody's got to go to the store if it's not me, but there's the, and then even yesterday, even after having gone to the store on Sunday morning, some things on the list we didn't have. So I still had to go to the store. And then I'll tell you in a minute about my husband's week, but he couldn't help me. So I had to go get ice. And normally I ask people to bring those things. But then sometimes, when you ask people to do something, they don't do it. Like I want that ice. And I know that some of that is like Chrystal just let go of, the exact way you want it, except no, I want Sonic Ice. Sonic Ice is a gift to the body of Christ. But anyway, so I'm just trying to decide that. So I guess on the one hand, I want people to come and relax. I mean, we have it catered. That's the point, right? On the other hand, there are still things to do. And I think yesterday, as I was cleaning up even and putting food away and doing that in stretches, I was thinking, what I need to figure out what I want to communicate, because I think I probably need to say at a certain point in our evening, hey girls, like, get out the Tupperware, or hey teenagers, I need your help in cleaning up the kitchen, and pull them out. Now here's the other thing. Thank you, Anjanae. She said, be the host you are. Create the atmosphere, but solicit help from the many hands. There is joy in serving and being served. Put those kids to work. And see, that's Brenda said, lower that perfect standard, Chrystal. But they all like Sonic Ice. Yes, Sonic Ice for the win. Hi, Melanie. Yeah, I was thinking about that, Gloria. I was thinking what I wanted to do to get families involved was to cater most of it, but then maybe once every month, say this is this family's turn to bring a dish. So we need, what do you want to bring? Do you want to bring a salad? Like, I want you to make it. Don't bring no crap from the grocery. You don't want no potato salad from Kroger. Like, what can your family bring that your family makes that you all enjoy bringing? Like, whatever it is, it could be a dessert, and that will substitute for something. So that way we have involvement. But I need to, I think the way to do it is just, thank y'all for being my therapist this morning. I think the way to do it is just to say, y'all, we have officially been doing this for a year. I would love to keep hosting everybody here. But I think we're missing an opportunity to have this be a family experience. The reason why we do this is because when we were growing up, it was a family experience, and then we just started doing it differently. And I'd love to get back, since our kids are younger, to it being a family experience. So maybe each family can bring a dish. So we, it's still not stressful for everybody, but we get a turn for, and then I think I'm going to tell them, so the teens need to clean up. They need to go all around my house and clean up. If they're over 12, they need to, everybody needs to clean up. Anyway, I'm figuring out how I want to communicate that. Yeah, maybe have them bring a meal once a month. Yeah. So y'all are helping me. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this and then get all the tips. Yes, I bring to-go containers. Yes. You'll have to tell me which containers he gets. There's the little styrofoam open and close containers. I hate those, but I hate using them, but I love giving them because they're cheap. I actually buy the little black containers from Costco for use at home that have the little semi-clear tops. But when people are packing for families, they need larger containers. And the square foil things, those are too expensive. I probably could find them, go to the business Costco and find some other options. Yes, a signature dish. That's a great idea. Rotate the setup and cleanup assignments. My children host dinner every other Sunday. That's awesome. That's awesome. See, y'all are the best. This is why we have the whole community. This is it right here. Okay. And that's the thing. See, I teach my kids, but somehow on Sunday, everybody just lazes around. And then, it's a whole thing. Then somebody broke something. And what also struck me is the parent made their child apologize, but the parent did not offer to replace it. And I was like, oh yeah, no. I was like, my mother may have done that, but they were also in their 60s without kids at home and with the financial fortitude to be fixing stuff y'all broke. But I was like, at what point, I was like, not only is it money for me to spend, but it's something for me to do. I feel like that's not my, anyway. I just don't want to be that mean mother, aunt, grandmother who's always telling people what to do and fussing at everybody. Even though my grandmother fussed at everybody and we all loved her. It is what it is. Almira said, I believe in being honest and sharing and asking for suggestions. Yes, or take turns hosting at each family's house. Yeah, we could do that. We could definitely do that. Yeah. And that's the thing I have to decide too. If I want to host that. Because we do other things at my sister's house, Priscilla's house. Like holidays, we're always over at her house. Special things. Like she kind of does that part. So I don't know. We're still settling in, of course, to what do we do without mommy? Oh, what do we do without mommy? Isn't that the question? See, Connie, I'm not the only person. Yeah. Yes, Letha, I believe that. They need to start younger. Absolutely. Yes. This is a good idea. Ooh, Ajane! You have a way of encouragement, ma'am. They know you. They know your gifts, calling, and position in the family. They will come to appreciate your leading them to this. This is an opportunity for you to extend your legacy. That's really good. Thank you, ma'am. All right. So after all that foolery, it's been, how long have we been on? This thing always, I can't, 37 minutes. Okay, I don't think my teaching will go that long, but I do have some other things I wanted to share with you, okay? So here's some fun, some information just to catch you up on what's been happening in my house and why also I was probably a little overwhelmed yesterday. Y'all, this week has been an extremely overwhelming week. Extremely. In the best of ways and in the worst of ways. So let me, first of all, share this with you. This is my, oh, that's not the right picture I wanted in there. Nope, that's not what I wanted either. Why are all my photos not doing what I want them to do? Hold on. Okay, let me fix this one, y'all, real quick. So this is my husband who earlier this week on Monday was in the hospital. He spent the whole week in the hospital. I took him in on Monday evening and he got discharged Thursday. I'm looking at your comments. So, but the reason why he was in the hospital, it's a great reason. On Monday, he goes on to dialysis on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And on Monday, in dialysis, he got a call that there was a kidney that might be a match for him. So Monday right after dialysis, he went and did some blood work. And then they told him that the blood work would be in later that afternoon, but to go home and pack a bag just in case. He came home and around 3, he said, he called me and I said, okay, just keep me posted. I tried not to right up and down emotional. I just can't. There's too many things. So I just said, okay, well, let me know. So he came home and they told him that he had to pack a bag and go ahead and come to the hospital because if it is a match, they wanted him to be able to come right in. So, of course, he was trying to, he is very sensitive to the load that I have on me, both because, for a long list of reasons, but he doesn't like to add to that. Sometimes he adds to it and he doesn't know it. Sometimes he adds to it and he is very well aware of it. He doesn't care. Most of the time he cares, but he tries not to do that. So he literally said to me, well, we have a couple of options for getting to the hospital. He said, I can drive myself, but then we'd have to get my car later if I end up having to stay. I said, okay, well, what's the other option? And he said, well, you could take me, but I know you have a lot going on. And I just looked at him and said, I will take you, Jesse. It's fine. It's fine. And then I felt bad. I was like, what kind of wife am I that he would wonder if I would take him? But anyway, he's just trying to be nice. But the reason why he was trying to be nice is because Tuesday was Monique's last day. So of course we are heavily trying to make sure we've downloaded all the information, closed all the gaps. I mean, it's just been a lot going on with that transition happening because Monique has been here for so long and held so many keys and been engaged in so much. But of course, I took him. I packed a little bag, and we went in, and he was a match. So that was him sitting on the bed after he had just gotten into his clothes. And Patricia said, "Amen. I have been in this life position before, holding the alarm, waiting for the buzz. It did come." So yes, he was a match. Got a new kidney Monday night, and then was in the hospital for the rest of the week, of course, because that's what happens. So that was the beginning of the week, but let me show you some other things. So this was kind of interesting. I was in the hospital, in the waiting room, and it dawned on me, I've been in this waiting room before. So I was in this waiting room in January of 2019 when my sister was having her lung surgery. And I believe I was in this same waiting room when my mom was having a procedure in the hospital. I said, no, Priscilla was at the beginning of 2020. My mom in 2019. So I had this eerie feeling being in there. But I just thought, my mother had this idea for a book she kept talking about. And being in that waiting room reminded me of that. She would talk about how a lot of life is waiting. It's waiting for one thing to happen, for one thing to wrap up while you anticipate another thing happening. And how you can use the time well in the waiting room, or you can whine in the waiting room. So I was in the waiting room, and because I'm actually a workaholic, I used it very well. It's reading, working, and trying to get some things done, giving direction for my family in my absence. This is Jesse and I leaving the hospital. He walked right out of there, so that's great. And this is my husband and I at home, sitting on our back porch. It's not a porch, I guess, back patio. And while he was gone, there were some chairs that I'd found at this local flea market. It's about an hour away. Find good things that artisans make, people make, and I fell in love with these chairs, and I was debating it, going back and forth, because I was like, there were a little bit more than I planned on spending, but I couldn't get them out of my head. And then I thought, when my husband comes home, I'd love for him to be able to sit on the back patio. So there we are, sitting in our custom-made gliders right outside of our bedroom door. So that's pretty cool. And then I took a good picture of him because I believe in taking good pictures. Isn't that a good picture of him? That's a good picture of him. So I wanted to share that with you all. While I was in the hospital with my husband, my boys, there was the whole thing. Who's taking them there? Who's taking them there? Kanan, can you ride an Uber? Because technically, you're not supposed to be in an Uber if you're not over 18. It's like, if they don't ask, don't tell them, just trying to figure that out. And it's hard to rely on other people for help in general. I don't like to be a burden. That's how my husband and I are alike. But also, when people are busy, and if you ask for help and they hesitate, well, let me see if I can. That's okay. It's all right. Never mind. So it was a hard week for me because there was a lot of negotiating with me trying to pick the easiest path, if that makes sense. So I probably made it harder on myself than I needed to, because I just wanted it simple and I wanted easy yeses. So there was a lot of negotiating and a lot of texting and a lot of, never mind, this person can do it this way, or this person can do it for 2 days instead of 1 day, and all of that. But it was still a good week. But while I was in this week negotiating my life at home with my husband and 2 boys, this is what was happening with my brother, my son. So he was at college, and my dad actually was the speaker this week for Liberty's Convocation. It's kind of like a campus-wide chapel. And because he was speaking, my brother and my sister and my brother-in-law, they all went up there too. So my son got to spend some time with my brother Anthony. I see people still commenting about family dinner, because I think when people start watching, they start at the beginning, so the comments are sprinkled. But I'm going to jump back to this because I love this. Gretchen said, we have a 20-acre farm that everyone comes over to. I set boundaries and expectations with the matriarchs of each family. We have specific tasks for each age groups. Gretchen, send me an email. What are the specific tasks for each age group? And the question is, are you one of the matriarchs, or are you the matriarch that is training the other matriarchs? See, the thing is, my mother set expectations. I'm not these women's mother. And when I act like a big sister, they don't like it. So that's the hard part. Anyway, getting back to this. So there was my brother with my son, Trey. And isn't this the best picture ever? Y'all look at this. So this is my dad with my son, Trey. So he was cared for, even though he's, 1,000, 1,500 miles from home. So that made me feel all warm. But I'm not going to lie. It was a stressful week. Let me tell y'all something. While I was in that waiting room, I was recovering from my overdose, because as soon as Jesse went into surgery and they told me that was going to be a 4-hour surgery, y'all, I was hungry. I sure was. So I took myself straight. I left the hospital, took myself to Smash Burger, and did the whole thing. I was like, yes, I want that burger with this extra on it. Yes, I want raw onions, sauteed onions, and fried onions on it. Give me an extra slice of cheese. Yes to the avocado. Large fries. Absolutely. He said they normally feed 2. Large fries, please. Yes, I want a soda to drink with this. And then you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pre-order my my shake. I know I see Oreo on the menu and mocha on the menu. Can I combine those? Can I combine the mocha and the Oreo? Thank you. Thank you very much. So this is me going straight into the my overload on sugar and carbs and fried food. Fat Demon was out the window. And I mean, like I literally said, I'm about to go stress eat. Like it was totally a commitment to something that was not good for me. I was like, I give myself permission in this moment with this chaos in my life. I have team changes happening. The week that my husband gets a transplant, the week that my kids have to go to school, the week that I have one last week before my book is due, the week, that's just like the top 5 things. I was like, are you kidding me? In the best way. I give myself permission to go do the thing. So this is confession. Now, after that, I did say, okay, I gotta get my act together. So this weekend we went to the store. There's Joel and I in the produce section. We got a bunch of fruit because this week in our Thrive journey for our Coaching Connection and Coffee level members, we were in the middle of 90 day for those of you who are doing it. So the encouragement has been to do different things because we're adding different things to our lives. And this week it's fruit. So we got a mess of fruit. My son didn't know the difference between a nectar and a nectarine and a peach. It's like, you're going to learn this week. We're going to learn this week. Y'all going to eat a bunch of fruit this week because we're going to clean y'all out. And me too. I have a little video of him. This is him in the store with me. Let me make sure. Turning this on so y'all can get sound. Make sure we got it. Let's see here. Make sure my movie sound is on. There we go. Let's see. What you getting, Joel?
Huh?
What you getting?
Nothing. How many up?
Do you even know what plums taste like?
Nope. And I don't.
That's why. It's the summer, so we're going to try some fruits you don't usually try. Don't be trying to get off my video. So that was us doing the thing. Terry Taylor said, my pastor says you have 24 hours to let it go and then get back on track. Yeah. So we're going to do better this week. And then my whole life was off track. So of course I didn't do any walking or anything like that. I happen to know that one particular member of our inner circle started walking at the beginning of our 90-day journey, and she is on a streak. She's like in day 50 something, nonstop walking every day, which I'm really happy about that for her. My hope is that those of you who are doing it are seeing some changes in your body. And if you're not seeing changes in your body, you're seeing changes in how you feel. I was supposed to get my hair out last week. That didn't happen. So we got to figure out another good day to do that. It's time, y'all. It's been 3 months. And it's still holding on, but I don't want my hair to dread. Okay. He's asleep, Miss Brenda. He's not crashing the lives because he's asleep. Okay. Oh, and then I did take some pictures of, let's see. Here's Monique and I and Shonda on her last day. This is Monique making cookies because, posing with her goodbye photo. If you put that in the inner circle already, but she makes ridiculously great cookies and she shared them with us. And then, nope, hold on. Oh, that may have been it. Yeah. So, gone from the office and the team, not gone from friendship, but we are literally trying to reposition people in places for a variety of reasons, and just praying about the right fit for certain positions that we have. I would say I'm in the middle of transition. And what I mean by that, and this is something that I don't want to forget. I've been reading this book called Rocket Fuel. It talks about visionary and integrator, but I've just read this last part of the book. I had this little part left where it was saying sometimes a visionary is not ready for an integrator. They just aren't willing to let stuff go, because you can't let a number 2 come in who's supposed to maintain a certain level of responsibility or take a certain level of responsibility off of your plate if you won't divest certain responsibilities. And it said, and if you're not ready, that's okay. I was like, am I not ready? Because I do feel like I'm teeter-tottering between what it takes to be an entrepreneur. You need to know all of the things in your business. You need to have a handle on your finances. You need to know where the inventory is at. You need to understand how your systems work, because if you have assistants and someone leaves, you may have to do it for a while. Like when you're small, you need to have done all the things. But at the same time, you can't keep doing all the things if you want to grow. You have to take your hands off of them. And somewhere in between pure entrepreneurism and growth is this gray area of release, where you're trying to figure out, am I safe to release it now? Am I, is this the right person to release this to? And then what are the systems and the structures that you put in place so that someone else, when transition happens again, can come in easily and keep that thing going? Or so that you can take it back over when you need to. And somewhere in there is anxiety. Somewhere in there is anxiety. Melanie, you've worked for someone like that and it was a nightmare, meaning they wouldn't let you do your job. Yes. And one of the things I shared with one of the girls in an interview was, I promise I'm going to get to the teaching in just a minute when you need to let go. Promise it's coming. I had to tell her, I care when I care, and I don't when I don't. I'm 0 to 60. So I'm either totally micromanaging you or get it done and give me an update once a week or once a month. And somewhere in there is a healthy balance of oversight and accountability with the ability to be hands off. And I don't live well in general in my whole life at 45 miles an hour. So, I think that transition, are there any one-on-one virtual mentoring sessions for the inner circle? I'll come back to that question in just a minute. So I'm going to end up going 2 hours. Well, maybe not, because my teaching is short, but we've already been on an hour and I haven't even done my teaching. But I think there's a healthy place to live. And what I have to learn is how to be a healthy leader. In the middle, in the middle. And that's where I'm learning. So that's where y'all can pray for me, because we're trying to choose the right people, but I also want to have systems in place so that when people need to move, change, leave, transition, that there's not a gaping hole. And so that's what we're doing now, is going back and saying, for all the things that we've done, Monique did a great job for the last 7 weeks or so of documenting most everything, and of course it's impossible to replace someone completely in the exact same way because they have the same knowledge, right? But we literally went through, we talked about every major project every Monday. She and I feel like now I've learned how to transition people well, but every Monday she and I would talk about what she was going to work on developing in terms of documentation that week. And then, we'd connect about it midweek. I'd review it and give her feedback. And then on Friday, we'd have a team meeting where she would divest herself, both in what was written and in how she could fill in the blanks, give people an opportunity to answer questions. And we methodically went through this process for 8 weeks. But like she said, we have a great transition plan now, but someone else might not give me 8 weeks. So what do you do when there really is the 2 weeks and you got to download it that quick? Well, that means they have to have been documenting it the whole way. And we document a lot of stuff, but we were also so busy. Monique and I did a lot. So now we're in this situation where we want to document it so that we are a step ahead for the next time. Because life happens. Life happens. People change. People got to move. People got to do different things. So y'all can pray for that in that regard, that we bring on the right people, and that I'm able to release myself from some of the details, not all of them, but some of them, more of them than I have in the past, so that people are free to do their jobs, to take ownership, that I can relax because I'm not freaking out that if they don't do it right, I got to do it. And then, so it's a lesson in leveling up in leadership for me too. So that's the prayer. Cherry on top said, I don't live well at 45 miles an hour. Did you tell your staff the things you care about so they can know how to involve you? Yes, maybe. That would probably be a question you have to ask them. So coming back to this question, is there any one-on-one mentoring sessions for the inner circle? You mean with me specifically? So here's what we're doing. We used to do one-on-ones with our coffee level, and then the coffee level grew, and that became unrealistic. Trying to schedule one-on-ones with me and 50 people was a nightmare. It was becoming a nightmare. So what we went to was group coaching, and that's almost as good as one-on-one coaching. Almost. This Saturday when we did group coaching, I think we had 9 women in there. That's the coffee level. But I said what I was going to come and talk about. This week we talked about home life and what you could do to have a better home life and reduce the friction. But then I'm there for questions, and we were there for 2 hours. So not only I actually think that group coaching in many ways is superior to individual coaching, because you get the benefit not just of the person who's mentoring you or talking to you or sharing with you, but you get the collective wisdom from the group. So that is what we do. Now, also, we ran cohorts, which were an opportunity for women to be mentored by other women than Chrystal in very specific areas. So Shonda mentored women in studying the Bible, to teach the Bible. Deborah Piguet mentored women in financial literacy. Rachel Ridge mentored women in how to access your creative genius. And those were small as well. Those were 12 or less. So there was mentoring involved in specific topic areas, because I can talk about a lot of things, but shouldn't be the only person talking about everything, nor should I be talking about all the things. And so we have that opportunity, and we plan to relaunch that in January. We have to get some stuff restructured on our team to make sure that sits squarely in somebody's plate. But that's what we're working on doing right now. So hopefully that answers your question. Letha said policies and procedures every step. Yes. And that's what I've done that. Like at our church, we have a whole binder for how to run an event. And yeah, it's sitting in the desk at work. I need to pull it out. And then we were in the process of creating a digital version of that so that I could say, hey, here's the folder. Here are the email sequences. Here are the planning documents. Here's the contact list. Like, here you go. But it was busy trying to, it's hard to do that when you're in motion. Slowing down was hard to do that. Yay, I'm glad you thought the cohorts were amazing. Gretchen says she's transitioning with key employees in her business as well. It's so hard to trust God's leading. It really is. It really is. Patricia said, do you have a personal assistant or a personal administrator? You are a big picture leader. You will entrust at the right time. A new person must learn you and how you lead and operate first. Yes. So I can't wait to introduce you to some of our new team members. We do have one new team member. We're in the process of onboarding another one, or communicating that to her and moving forward. And I have a spot for one more. And it's really hard because, like you said, I am a big picture leader, and my life is very interconnected. I, as an individual, the stuff I do for business and ministry interconnects with my family. Like, we were picking a date for the Reinventing a Life You Love experience. And I had to maneuver not just my calendar, but I also had to maneuver my family's calendar. Like, we're releasing a book. There's a movie coming out. I have to maneuver my responsibilities at church. I have to maneuver my responsibilities with my dad's ministry. And so one person, like this is the best example I could give you. If I have one person that sends me, there was one lady who sent me a gift card for DoorDash. But that one person is not only a friend of mine, she also leads on the women's Bible study at church. She's also an elder's wife. So if one of the girls on my team is responsible for helping me get birthday cards out the door, and that coincides with the fact that she just sent me a thank you gift, in my birthday card to her, I want to connect the dots and say, thank you so much for whatever. You're such a great person. But I don't want to it's not the worst thing in the world, but I'm just saying, to send her a thank you card and a birthday card is not bad. But you see how things get interconnected. So when I was less busy and had less going on, Monique and I doing that together worked really well, because she was in all the places with me. But now everything is more. So that being one person alone is not totally realistic right now, especially with people being new. So I'm trying to work that out. Yes. Exactly. I see y'all. So prayers, please. Thank you. All right, y'all. That is a lot of foolery and fun today. On today, let me get some water, because I should drink some water. Didn't I just talk about that? So we're going to talk about when you need to let go. I have notes. These are my notes. Y'all see my chicken scratch? My daughter's convinced that I'm ADD, that there are different types of ADD, and not the hyperactive kind, even though that may be true as well. But she's just like, what I have learned recently, I've had multiple ADD kids, or ADHD kids. What I have learned is ADD can manifest in a way that I never knew Yes, BB. And listen, at least one person on my team has to be a lover of Excel because they have to be able to keep up with me. And I'm a high user. I'm a high user of Excel. Um, so ADD um, can manifest itself uh, as a spectrum, as an option on the spectrum, in actual high performance and high capacity, the rate at which someone is able to think. And so Karis, she's been sending me these TikTok videos of people that are adults dealing with ADD, and she's like, "But that's you. This is you. Like, this is why you have a million ideas and you can't finish any of them. And then you're running a million miles a minute, and then the team is running a million miles a minute, and everybody's tired because you're just like, your brain doesn't stop." I was like, well, then you might have a point there. Okay. But I am learning to not force things. I should, let me write this down because I should save this for my teaching. I just thought of something. Whew. Okay, pen's not writing it. All right, here we go. Yeah. Yeah. It's my dad. I look at him and there's no question. There's no question. Like, even when we look at his report cards from when he was younger, his teachers would say, "You need to work on teaching him to sit down. He's always anxiously wanting to answer the questions. He can't stay in his seat. You know, we have to constantly tell him." We were like, "Oh, he was totally ADD." One of the teachers said he needs to drink milk over the summer to help his maturity and growth. No, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I probably should go get tested. I mean, but why? Why? If I already know how to function. Why? But I don't want to claim it if it's not mine to claim. All right, so here we go. Here we go. The only thing about writing it down is that now I know. I wrote it down so I know my content, but it's also all over the page. So I'm going to try my best to be, not to look down a ton. Okay. There's one quick thing I need to pull up. All right. Hi, my name is Chrystal Evans Hurst, and if you are just finding me today, no, that's not where I want to start. Sorry. That's not where I wanted to start. I had another place I wanted to start. I'm trying to do these intros to these videos. There is no doubt about it. Letting go is hard. But whether you're in a season of letting go of something that no longer is good for you, something that no longer belongs to you, or something that no longer serves you, you need to know that letting go is a part of life. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Chrystal Evans Hurst, and I'm glad that you're joining me here today. Whether you're joining me on Facebook or YouTube, I want you to make sure that whenever I go live or whenever I release new content, that you're notified. So be sure and follow me on Facebook, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and if you enjoy what you find here, share it with a friend. I'm really moved to talk about letting go because I'm in a season of my life personally where there are lots of things to let go of. Ideas, people, processes, plans. And I'm not really good at letting go. Why? Because once I've made up my mind to attach myself to something, someone, or to get something done, I have a really hard time changing my mind, deciding to go a different way. I don't like the idea of starting over. I don't like the idea of wasted time. I don't like the idea of admitting that I made a mistake or I waited too long to release something or someone. And I know that letting go is uncomfortable, but what I'm also convinced of is that letting go is a part of life. I have 3 grandchildren, and all 3 of them love to jump in the pool. But of course, as I'm sure you can imagine, as it's time for them to learn how to swim, letting go of the side of the pool to trust their parents or trust a family member to release their hand from the side of the pool and swim to that family member in the middle of the pool is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But at some point in the life of every child that I've raised, there's 5 of them, if at some point in the life of the children that I've come to know, nieces, nephews, children's friends, and of course my grandkids, there comes a point where terror inside, they decide that what's in front of them is worth them releasing what's on the side of them or behind them. Letting go in order to move towards new possibilities in your life is a part of life. And the longer you hold on to the side of things or hold on to things that are really behind you, the longer you are taking to press forward to things that are better. There's nothing better than looking at a child who is freshly learned how to swim. They are so very excited. They want everybody to know that now they are free. They're free to swim in the middle of the pool. They're free to jump off the side of the pool. They're not afraid anymore. They are free. Look at me jump off the diving board. Look at me. Look at me. I can swim from one side to the other. Look, I'm not touching the ground. The joy that comes from a child who's learned to swim is also the joy that emanates only after the child has learned to let go. If you're like me, often when seasons change, you don't want to let go. It's familiar. They're familiar. The process is familiar. The place is familiar. And you're terrified. What is going to happen when I actually move from where I've been comfortable to where I think I'm called to go? Where I'm called to be, who I'm called to be with, what I'm called to do. Am I sure? And there's that in the middle. But there are times, because this is life, there's a lot of reasons I could give you with, why letting go. But all, at the end of the day, it's all summed up in, honey, dear, sweetheart, this is life. Life is letting go. That is the sum total of life. It's surrender. Surrender to the things you can't control. Surrender for the seasons that you are with certain people in your life. Surrender and acceptance of the seasons where people move on in your life. It's surrender of the career that you had in one segment and the career that you'll have in another segment. It's surrender. It's letting go sometimes of the habits that are not serving you anymore. It's letting go of the thoughts that are not good for you anymore. It's letting go of the dreams that you had if they no longer serve you and the direction that you need to go in when it doesn't agree with where you've been in the past. It is learning how to release. And if you don't know, and if you don't learn how to release and how to let go, you'll be stuck for your life, or at least a large segment of it. And you'll regret how long it took you to learn the lesson. How many times have you said, golly, I just wish I would have done this earlier, because fear kept you stuck, or a certain mindset kept you stuck, or certain people kept you stuck. And then once you finally released, you were like, I should have done this a long time ago. What are you waiting on? So what I wanted to do was to just give you some thoughts that hopefully encourage you, that when you know you're in a season of releasing, when you know that you really do need to let go and you just need that extra little something to give you the confidence to move forward. That's what I hope to do today. I am speaking to you today if you already know you need to let go. If you're working through the process of deciding if you need to let go. if you are wrestling with the reality of letting go, because there is a reality. If it's time to leave that job and it's time for you to go on and do something in an entrepreneurial sense, or to try your hand in changing your career, going to school to do something different, there's a risk involved. You've got to now make it on your own. Nobody's going to hand you a paycheck. Or I hope that when I actually dig in deep to this new education and this career, that this is what I think I'm supposed to do, and that it actually is what I'm supposed to do. There is the reality of change and transformation, and the process of transformation that's required when you make a shift. It is real. It is real that if you've been afraid to leave that dating relationship because maybe he's the guy, but I don't think he's the guy, but I don't want to be alone. And what if I'm being too specific, or my standards are too high, or what if I'm asking for too much, but you've been convinced for too long that he's not the one. So you want to release. And one of the fears that you have is, if I release him, will I ever be in another relationship again? Will I always be alone? Of course, that's a real fear. Of course, it's a real fear to say that if I move from this place that I've been comfortable to move to this new place, will I like it? Will I enjoy it? Is the weather going to agree with me? Am I going to make new friends? Sure, there's a fear. Sure, there is. But if letting go is a part of life, then the only way that you get to the good stuff is releasing the stuff that you're afraid of releasing. So when you need to let go and you need that extra push and that extra encouragement, what I want to do today is to give you some things to think about that might help you release your grip. Because I understand what it is to feel afraid and concerned and stressed out, and thinking about all of the possible effects that if you make a change, what will happen? I understand that trying new things is hard. And that trying new things doesn't always pan out. I'm aware of that too. But one of the best lessons that you can learn about life is that life is letting go. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. And are you prepared to do so? One of the reasons why we don't let go is a principle of sunk costs. Sunk cost is actually a financial term. It can be applied in life in general, but a lot of the time it's applicable in sunk cost. In my corporate life, I've had 3 decades of my life: my corporate life, my stay-at-home mom life, and then my entrepreneurial life. Those have kind of marked the decades of every year. I need to figure out what the next decade is going to be marked by. Because that'll be on me before I know it. Maybe I need to claim Fiji. Can I have a decade of Fiji? Shucks. I need to start speaking some things as though they are. I need to put that on my vision board. Shucks. Good grief. Need to plan that out. I feel like I've stumbled into every decade, letting go of the past decade, but maybe I need to determine in a more directed sense. I need to figure that out in advance. Somebody say Fiji. All God's people said Fiji. Don't mind me. But anyway, in my corporate life, getting back to the subject at hand, my corporate life, sunk cost is a whole thing. And it's this principle that when something is a bad investment, that you don't want to let it go. So think about buying a stock in a company. Let's just say you bought one stock of ABC company and you put $1,000 in there. That was a big commitment for you, right? $1,000, I want to buy this stock, which, by the way, picking stocks is fun, but pick mutual funds. Do mutual funds. It's a lot better. So anyway, it is the idea that if that stock, ABC, has some bad news come out, the stock starts going down and you see your investment going down because you hope it goes back up. You don't get out. And you just watch that investment along the timeline. I guess I should go this way because of the direction. But you watch that investment over time do this, and you just watch it. And at a certain point, it's time to get out, but you just watch it go down. And there's a point at which you transition from concern and questioning to knowing. But in the knowing, because you've already lost something, because you've already lost time, money, energy, or face, you don't get out. You just replace the concern and the awareness of the declining value with hope that that value will increase. Now, there's a place for hope. 1 Corinthians 13 says, love hopes all things. But there's a difference between loving something and having the wisdom to know when you should stay attached to it or not, or someone. Sometimes the healthy thing to do is love from a distance when we're talking about people. In economic terms, sunk costs are costs that they've already been incurred and cannot be recovered, which means it should not be a factor in our decision making. It's irrational to use an irrecoverable cost as rationale for a present decision. Sometimes what you've lost is gone. And your hope that it will come back, that it will change form, that it will now serve you when it has stopped serving you over a period of time, your hope is not enough to replace the sunk cost. Okay, so let me give you another example. It's financial, but I think it will help this sit home. I was in my 20s when I was in my corporate life. I used to watch the stock market in a variety of roles, and I would sit there all day watching the stock market and helping different people do different things. So I would sit there all day and watch different people, help different people make decisions with their financial investments. And I watched this one particular stock. It had a rhythm. It would go down and then it would go back up. Then it would go down and it would go back up and it would inch higher over time. It had this pattern for a very long period of time. So being 20 and wise as I was, I decided to invest some money in that stock. The problem is at first I invested my money. It was a big commitment. Took $200 and I bought some of that stock and it did just what I thought it would do. And I wanted to invest more. So I took a little bit more money and I put that in that stock and it did exactly what I thought it would do. And I wanted to invest more and I didn't have more. So I took a loan out on a credit card, a cash advance from a credit card, and put a whole bunch of money on that stock. And then it did what I thought it was going to do. It went down and then it went up. And I cashed out. And I was like, this is a great way to make money. It's called day trading. Day trading is great. It's horrible when you're not using your own money. Don't do that. So I did it again because it worked before. And then some bad news came out about this company and it went down. And it went down. And it went down. And because I had been feeling myself, not only did I borrow more to put down, I borrowed exponentially more to put down, which means now I was doubling down on my losses. Somebody's cringing right now as I'm telling this story because you understand what it is to try to short sell a house or, something like that where you are betting on something going a certain direction. So you double down on it. You put more on the table. You make that decision because you think that you have the wisdom to know when you should be in and when you should be out. You have a false sense of security about something. And y'all, I doubled down, which means every dollar that stock went down, I was not only losing that dollar, I was losing the dollar also that I needed to pay the company back. And I took too long to get out of that. You want to know why? Sunk costs. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. When you need to get out and you don't want to let go because you're hoping you're replacing the sense of letting go, the knowledge that it's time to let go, the understanding that your time here with this place, this person, or the situation is done. And you allow hope to fill in the gap incorrectly because you believe that you're supposed to hope in all things all the time. And you're not all the time supposed to hold on or borrow money on a credit card to make an investment. But the mindset that I had was, it'll get better. I don't want to let go because I don't want to lose what I've already lost. But what I was leaving out of that equation is, by staying, you can lose more of what you've already lost. You may not gain it back. There are times when it's just time to get out. It's time to sell. It's time to release. It's time to cut your losses and run. And when you realize that you've gone too far, the mindset that says, I'm going to wait until it gets better, I'm going to keep putting something in, a bad investment. When it's time to get out, the sunk cost fallacy will keep you hoping where hope needs to be ditched and common sense needs to reign. How do you know the difference? Wise counsel, God's word. How do you know the difference? Knowing when your knower says, girl, you're done. It's over. And to stop rationalizing with yourself, to be honest with what's really happening. So when it's time to let go, and yes, I got out of that and worked really hard over time to pay that mess back. It was ridiculous. When it's time to let go, here are some things I want you to think about. I want you to think about, in the midst particularly of this idea of sunk cost, that you win, even if you get out and you lose in the short run. If you're having trouble releasing something when it's time to let it go, what you need to hold on to is you still get something out of the deal. You do. Romans 8:28, God uses all things for the good of those who are called according to his purposes. Everything. The good stuff, the bad stuff, the I should have known better stuff, the I can't believe I did that stuff, the I can't believe they did that to me stuff, the I can't believe I stayed so long. All of that. He uses it for good. It adds to your knowledge. When you can look at what you are losing, when it's time to let go and say, with gratitude, I do not leave this empty-handed. I do not leave this empty-handed. Because the reason why you don't want to let go is because you think you lose by leaving. You think they lose by you letting them go. You think the ministry won't be able to survive without you. You think that your children won't be able to function if you're not gone. You think that your job won't be able to replace you. And listen, let me just tell you something. In this life, everything is replaceable. Everything, including you. When it's time to let go, you are replaceable. The knowledge is replaceable. We say things are not replaceable, but the world keeps turning. Remember that soap opera, As the World Turns? Because no matter what happens to you in your situation, the world keeps turning. So you have to say, when I leave, when they leave, when this situation shifts, with gratitude, I get something out of the deal. I'm going to leave better, more knowledgeable, more mature, more informed, more loved, more loving. I'm going to leave smarter, wiser. I'm going to release this person or this situation. And when I do it, I want to release them better than I found it. But I'm going to release them, release it, release that. I'm going to release myself with gratitude. That's what you use to plug in the gap of things that are sunk cost when you need to let go. Hope may hold you on too long, but gratitude is always in style. Gratitude for the experiences that you've gained, for the lessons that you've learned. Find the thing, find the silver lining and say, this is what I got out of that. This is what I can carry with me into the next season. When it's time to let go, make a list of the things that you are grateful of or for, of the very thing that you're having a hard time releasing. Okay? Gratitude. That was a horrible marriage. But because I was in that horrible marriage. I can be compassionate to women who are struggling in their marriages. Because it was a horrible marriage, because I endured abuse, I now know what abuse is and how to spot it. I will never make that a mistake again with health and wellness and maybe teaching, maybe therapy. But I've learned that this is what that looks like, and I can avoid that in the future with gratitude. I screwed up my first kid. You know what? That will make me a better parent with my last kid. With gratitude. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I used my tongue in that way to demean or bring negativity in someone else's life. But you know what? Now I've learned, and I've learned how to hold my tongue. I've learned how what I say can actually tear somebody up and rip them to pieces. And I now know how to be a lover of positive words. And I now know how to speak life into the life that other people live. I now know how to be a life giver with my lips. Gratitude. I cannot believe I ran up all those credit cards and it took me 15, 20 years to get out of debt. But now I know how to manage my money. Now I know. I know what not to do. You learn. You live. You grow. And that's something to be glad about. Gratitude gives you the gift of gladness, when otherwise letting go would leave you feeling sad. Gratitude. Be grateful for the experience. Know that it had a place in your life. You can learn from it. You can grow from it so that you can let it go. Joanna Gaines, in 2003, opened her little store. And after 2 kids, even though the store was doing well, she closed it. She talked about how the Lord said, not right now. And it hurt her deeply to close it. She loved her little store. She had been, I believe, an interior design major at Baylor. Don't quote me on that, but she definitely had done something with textiles. And that was her training and her love and her passion. But God said, not right now. We need to focus on one thing. And they decided to close that and focus on building their company, Magnolia Homes. She sacrificed it. She surrendered it. She let it go. And in 2018, she opened it again. It's the original store. It's small. It's off the beaten path of the silos in Waco. But when she released it, she didn't know that she would get back 100-fold. Because everybody and their mama now needs to go to Waco. The silos, to get the cupcake, to eat at Magnolia table, to get coffee at the coffee shop, to now go to the furniture store, to shop at their many shops that are there, to get an Airbnb, and the whole demographic, the whole economic status of Waco has shifted because one girl said, it's my dream, but I gotta let it go. I love it, but I gotta let it go. It's doing well, but I gotta let it go. Why? I don't know if I'll ever come back to it. Hope I will, not sure. But I know it's not mine right now. Aren't we glad she let that store go? Without that, there may not have been a Fixer Upper or a Magnolia magazine. Every seed that is placed in the ground to die comes back to life multiple times over. If it is nurtured correctly and has the right temperature and care, it comes back and produces more than its original worth and value. So, yes, practice gratitude for growth. And then take solace in the fact that nothing is wasted. Everything that you plant when you release may feel like it's getting buried, unused, forgotten in the dark. But when you release things, and you release them well, they bear fruit. How far can I go if I'm swimming, holding on to the side of the pool? Can I go around the rim of the pool? 100%. Am I able to swim in the middle? Am I able to jump off the diving board? Am I able to swim to the bottom of the pool to find the rings when the kids play? Am I able to do any of that? No. Releasing the side of the pool multiplies what I'm able to accomplish. Take solace in the fact that nothing is wasted. Nothing. And that not only do you have gratitude that brings growth, but you also have the surrender of the seed that brings growth too. Whatever you surrender can be multiplied. Not only is it not wasted, it grows. Gratitude. Nothing is wasted. And then know this: seasons simply change. We learn this every time the fall comes around. It's September, and while the leaves are still full on the trees, I'm starting to see a few turn colors. Are not as vibrantly green. They're starting to get some yellow in there, and saw some leaves the other day on the grass, on the ground. It's almost that time. It's almost that time. And the leaves know what to do. The leaves know what to do. And they don't resist the separation. When it's their time, when they're done, they disconnect. And they fall to the ground, if left on the ground, to nurture the ground that nurtures the tree that they came from originally. And every spring and summer, new leaves grow in their place. It's cyclical. Letting go is a part of life because it's cyclical. My oldest son, we recently took him to college, and everybody was like, Chrystal, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you crying a million tears? Maybe because I've homeschooled, maybe because they've been with me the whole time, maybe because it's my personality. I'm not the blubbering, oh my gosh, my children left me type. I did cry, but not in the, oh my gosh, I'm so concerned and worried about him. I just think it's cyclical. It would be abnormal if he didn't want to spread his wings, if he didn't want to grow, if he didn't want to take that next step in his life. And I'm excited for him to take that next step, because as much as the dynamic in our house has changed already with him being gone, as much as I miss our little inside jokes and I miss having him around, as much as I like being the mom and telling him what to do, if he's going to actually grow and be who he's called to be, just like that tree with the cycle of the leaves falling, ebbing, and flowing. It's a part of the tree's growth. If he's going to be what he's supposed to be, release and letting go is a part of that. It's seasonal. You need to understand that letting go is seasonal. And if I'm going to be, here's the thing, y'all, if I'm going to be who I'm supposed to be, that means that everything that came from me, that grew out of me, is not supposed to stay with me. The core of me, just like the trunk of the tree, is with me always. Sometimes some of those branches need to be trimmed, cut off, done away with. Some of the branches die, or they're unhealthy. They're in a position to they're poised to cause damage potentially. But even the beautiful leaves, every season, fall away. Letting go is seasonal. And in order for you to move from one season to the next, guess what that means? You have to be willing to do. Let things fall away. Maybe not forever. Maybe that project, you come back to it in 5 years. Maybe that dream, you don't put it on the back burner. You just work towards it in other ways. Maybe that person, you need to set a boundary with them and release them from your inner circle. But maybe not forever. Maybe there's just some things they need to learn and grow in. What I can tell you is that holding on to things that are designed to fall away would be detrimental to you. So when it's time to let go, I want to encourage you to be grateful for what you've learned and know that you get to take that into your future. To take solace in the fact that even the stuff that brings you pain, I wish I would have done that differently. I wish I could have done more of that. I wish I could have experienced more of this or done this differently. That every pain point that you have, because there is pain and release, take solace in the fact that it's not wasted. And that often the very things that we release, once planted and surrendered, come back 100-fold in a different way. And then lastly, know that letting go is seasonal. Don't be surprised when the next season of letting go comes. It's like a shedding. You know, animals shed their hair, snakes shed their scales, trees shed their leaves. Humans are the only group of people that want to hold on to stuff. We've got storage units and we have stuff that is cluttering up our spaces because we think if we hold on to it, we won't experience loss. You cannot avoid loss. You cannot avoid the sensation, the feeling of loss. Life involves losing things, losing people. We lose people that we love. It's a part of life. We don't like it. It doesn't mean you have to like it, but you can learn to appreciate what happens when letting things go results in new life for you to live. And if you spend all of your time and focus on what you've lost, you're giving all of your attention to the thing that you should not recover or cannot recover, and you're missing the opportunity to focus on the beautiful thing that's waiting for you. Your last child, you're empty nesting, you don't know what to do. That's not my situation just yet, but it's coming. What about the life that you now get to live? And if you don't even know what you want to do, what about the opportunity that you have to figure that out? That guy that you were dating for 4 years and you cannot believe you wasted 4 years of your life on him. No. Gratitude. What did I learn about being a caring individual? What did I learn that I don't like? Gratitude, solace, whatever I learned will serve me in my next season. The lessons learned are not lessons lost. They are lessons that will teach me in future seasons how to live. That is quotable. And then also the seasons. If I'm going to grow and develop in this life, I'm going to get older. I'm going to change. Life is going to happen, whether I like it or not. So I can try to hold on to past things that actually no longer serve me, or I can release those things and look forward to my new seasons with excitement. It's a part of the changing seasons. It's a part of life and growth and development. That even means letting go of you, letting go of who you were, who you thought you were, beating yourself over the head for what you did that you thought was horrible and you couldn't recover from. If you hold on to that version of you, thoughts of you, degrading of you, and you're not willing to let that go, learn from it, be grateful for it, take solace in it, but move forward into the new seasons, you are wasting your life because you don't want to let go. And let me tell you something. Letting go is hard because often what we're holding on to because it's comfortable. Letting go is uncomfortable. But letting go is a part of the good life too. The last night with my son in college, I took his baby book to him and I sat down with him in the commons area of his dorm. I did 3 things. I opened the book and I just said, there are going to be times because you're trying to figure out who you are, trying to find your place, that you may have voices that want to tell you that you don't know what you want to do with your life, or that you don't, maybe you trying to find your people, trying to fit in, or, there are times when you're growing and developing that your mind will play tricks on you and tell you things about yourself, or you'll have feelings about yourself or your situation that simply aren't true. So I didn't read him everything from his baby book. I just kind of thumbed through and then showed him certain lines. I showed him the line where it said, before he was born, we love him so much already and we haven't even met him. Then I turned a couple pages the day he was born to look at his father and how much he loves him already, having just met him. We love Trey so much. We love his laughter, his personality. Look at how cute he is, his first time doing this. I just kind of walked him through, like 5 minutes. And I said, don't you ever believe for a moment that you are not loved. You were loved before you got here. You were loved the whole duration of your time in our home. You are loved now, even though you are in a season where you're away from home. You are loved. You are worthy. God has a plan for your life, and he has since day one. And the tears are falling, but I'm trying to hold it together because I don't want to embarrass him in the commons area of his dorm. So I gave him a lesson and a reminder in love. I went and picked him up a Bible, went to the bookstore in town and found a Bible. I was looking for something that he wouldn't mind throwing in his backpack. Got him a Bible that happened to have a sword on the front. He has a fixation with swords. I put his name on it in Hebrews 4:12. The word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword. It's living and active. It pierces through to the bone and the marrow, changes you. And I said, listen, the only thing that will actually change you really from the inside out. You can read books that'll change your mind. You can meet people, they'll change your perspective. But the only thing that can change the core of you, piercing through to the bone and the marrow, is God's word. Read the word. And he's sick of reading the word. He's sick of me making him memorize scriptures. He's sick of all the things. I had to tell him, oh, by the way, church is not optional, just in case you thought it was optional. I'll give you a few weeks to figure it out. But if you're not going to church, I will come and pick you up. Gave him a Bible. Gave him his diploma. We'd had a running situation all summer. When he graduated, I handed him his diploma, but it wasn't signed. I said, I'm not signing that because you never actually finished anatomy like you said you were going. You didn't take all the tests. Homeschool. So he literally, when we were packing up to go, said, Mom, can I have my diploma? And I was like, no, not time. He did have enough credit. So I handed him his diploma and I said, good job. Well done. I gave him my love. I gave him a tool for all the lessons of life that he would need. And then I gave him his diploma, ultimately giving him the ability to leave the last season behind. Officially. And then I left my son 1,000 miles away. Knowing that anything he needs from me is a phone call away or a flight away. And knowing that everything that he needed to get from his season with me, even though there are more things I would have loved to have been able to do. In 10 years of my husband's physical challenges and health challenges, it's been a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to, if you're a single parent, you understand this, but even when you're married and if there's a challenge with your spouse, or maybe they travel a lot for work and a lot of it is on you, it's a lot. It's hard. And as a homeschool mom, there's a lot of things I would have loved to have done differently or better or more of. But knowing that the time is over. It's over. Regardless of whether or not I'm ready, the seasons are shifting. The leaves are falling. He's growing up. So I left him knowing that that season was over and a new season is beginning, and I get to embrace that season as his mom too. Even though there was more I would have loved to do. When my mom died, heading into almost the second year, unbelievable. I tried to think really hard about what I was going to miss or what we hadn't done or what was going to bring me pain. And of course, you can't imagine the pain until you experience the pain, but I was just trying to think, what did we leave undone? What did I not say? What did we not do? What did I need her to teach me? What did I need her to... And then I said, actually, to Beth Moore, the day before the funeral. She's like, how are you doing, Chrystal? I said, I'm doing okay. Obviously, I wish this was not God's timing and God's plan. But obviously it was. Or we live in a fallen world, one of the two, and we die. And it just is what it is. But I've been thinking, and the only things that I can come up with that are causing me pain, apart from missing her presence, is that I just want more. I cannot think of anything that I need from my mom that she has not already given me. Do I want to let her go? No. Did we fight so we wouldn't have to let her go? Yes. But when it became clear that the seasons were shifting, my perspective shifted too. I look then and I look now at my mom's life with extreme deep gratitude. I take solace in the fact that there's nothing hard, bad, good, or ugly from her life or even from the last year of her life that is wasted. Could I have done more of this or less of this or said this differently? Or it's not wasted. I've learned and I've grown. And seasons change. And one of the gifts of walking through the season of losing a loved one is that you realize in the space of what they left open, who you are supposed to be. So letting go is never something we want to do. But since it's a part of life, when you need to let go, let go. Doesn't mean you don't cry about it. Doesn't mean you don't struggle through it. It doesn't mean that it's easy. But once you realize that the seasons are shifting, or maybe after the fact, you realize that the seasons have shifted, instead of looking at what you've lost, look at what you gain. Gratitude, solace, nothing is wasted. And seasons change. And when one season falls away, a new season is just beginning. I will always miss my mom. I will always remember with loving fondness and all the years of bathing children and changing diapers and quirky teenagers and grading algebra. I will always remember the seasons in my life where people who were on the team, volunteers, core team members, where they were here to serve me or the sister circle, the inner circle. I will always have great pictures of the houses that I've lived in, the trips that I've taken, the events that I've managed. I will look with loving kindness at some of the clothes in my closet that it's just time to let them go. From the hard things to the easy things and everything in between. When you need to let go, just remember, be grateful. Know that nothing is wasted. And know that as you release one thing, it gives you room to receive the next. I hope this has been encouraging to you. And I hope that in some way, whether it's your dreams or your people or your projects or whatever it is, that when it's time, you'll let go. Because letting go is not just a part of living, it also means that you're living your life. So this is me telling you to live. Okay, that's it. That was longer than what I thought it was going to be, but oh well. All right, y'all. And then I ended up staying on for 2 hours. This is what happens. I get a little long with the foolery. Oh, there was one thing that I was going to say. Let me say this, and then we'll decide if we want to patch it in. When my kids were little, with each one of the boys, we did a butterfly garden so that we could watch the caterpillars turn into butterflies. And when it was time after they had put themselves in the cocoon, you took the top off of the jar that they were in, and there was a little piece of paper that they were attached to, and you peeled off the paper and you put the paper, you stuck it on the wall inside of the butterfly garden that had a net. And then you watched and you waited for a couple of weeks. And when the butterflies were emerging, you always wanted to help them. You always wanted to do, it said, don't, leave them alone. They need to do their own thing. But one of the things that I realized often after having done this 3 or 4 times is that when the butterflies are emerging, they often leave a stain. I used to think it was blood. I don't know if it's blood. It may just be the stain from the color on their wings, but you'll see that. You'll see it on the paper. As they emerge, you'll see the stain on the paper. The stain is a part, it is a picture that they are actually going through the process of metamorphosis. The change, the releasing of one life, of one body, and the move into another life, and another body is marked with a stain. It's not clean. It's not easy. It's not, pure white. It's not without a mark. Yes, a part of you letting go will involve a mark of tears staying down your cheeks, a stain on your heart because of pain, the blood that you had to bleed out, literal, figural, of releasing something, because when you decided to disconnect yourself from the stab of that person's comment or what they did to you, healing required bleeding. Healing required a stain. I want you to know that what you may consider a stain, a scar, emotions, crying, the tear-stained cheeks, the part that we don't think is beautiful, clean, pristine, it's the stain that let you know that you let go. Okay. We'll see where we stick that in. Okay. I love this. Love what you all are sharing too. Yes, Brenda. To the close. To the close. And if I am that size again, I'll buy new clothes. I'm not going to have those sitting in my closet for no more years when somebody could be. As we prepare to sell our home, yes, you can sell your home and keep the memories. You're welcome, Erica. You're welcome. Yes, holiday morning. It's all about that stain, Miss Jackie. You're welcome, Levon. The foolery, yes, the foolery was necessary, so that way then we could go deep. Okay, we'll work to add it in. Uh, yeah. Aren't we all grieving summer? It's a crazy, crazy day. So thank y'all for hanging with me for so long this morning. Don't eat too crazy today. And do something that, if you've got the bandwidth, do something that you enjoy that makes it feel like it was your holiday, that it was your break from labor. Like I think I'm going to go to Ulta today. I'm going to look online for sales, but I think I need to get some makeup. And I think I'm going to go to Ulta and Dillard's. This is a good weekend for me to just like meander through Ulta. And y'all know I don't even enjoy makeup, but I started using, so I need to, there's a lady who I was going to buy some Mary Kay through. Because I actually tried to keep my mother's account, but I waited too long. So when I went, it was already gone. Because my mother used to get all of her stuff half off. But my skin, I can do anything. So just because I could run to the store, I bought Clinique. I was like, my mother used to use Clinique. I'll try Clinique. So now I have this kind of mix and Mary Kay Clinique situation that I like. But like going to Ulta, just go and walk around, see what's in there. Maybe I'll buy a new makeup brush. My makeup brush is like 4 or 5 years old. Eat my fruit. And thank you. Yeah, y'all pray. Of course, transplants are great. And then you have all the things you have to do. So the load is still not lighter because for weeks and weeks and weeks, he's got to go to lots and lots of doctor's appointments. And of course, he can't drive. So wonderful addition to the things that I have to do, but I'm grateful that I get to do them. Yeah, I think I'm going to go to Ulta and let's see what the temperature is today. I may go visit a gym because I'm not doing good. I mean, the weather's going to change, but some days, like today, for example, right? I get online with y'all between 7 and 8. Well, then by the time I get off, then the day has started. Like the kids, like not today, but the kids are doing school. I got to get them out the door, whatever. And really, I need to work out before y'all. But before y'all, it's dark. So I said maybe I'd go and check out a gym just so that that's an option. I have my spin bike, but anyway. Yes, learn how to get out of debt. I don't want to be in that. Yeah. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed that. We'll chop it up and edit it and put it back. And I know I love Lifetime Fitness, and I've actually held on to a membership for years without going. It's the problem with Lifetime is that it's 25 minutes from my house. It makes no sense for me to go, but I loved it. It just made no sense for me to go all the way there. But I love it. And then there's a Planet Fitness over here that's 24 hours, which is great because when I work out, I'm going to work out, between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning if I'm not going to do something outside. So anyway, I'd love to know what y'all are doing for your Labor Day. So that's what I'm thinking about. I need to do some writing. I need to clean up. I need to do some laundry. I need to hit the reset button. Because of last week, really the last 3 weeks, taking the kid to college, Jesse's surgery, all that. There are some books for the kids I have yet to order. It's like, Chrystal, get your act together. We're going to cram 36 weeks of school into 30 because that's all I'm going to have left by the time we're done. Jerry said, Lifetime Fitness is a resort with gym qualities. Exactly. Do they open at 4? Huh. Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out. I'm trying to think, what else would make me feel great today? like that I had enjoyed my life today is if I'm just listing things. I'm not going to do them all. It's like if I watch a movie or watch like another episode of The Crown, because I never watch TV. So if I do that, that means I relaxed. What would mean I relaxed is if I went to Barnes and Noble's and sat down and just looked at a magazine with a cup of whatever that's hot. That would make me feel like I'd relaxed. I'm not going to cook today. We hosted family dinner yesterday, which means bonus, we have leftovers. And my sons were like, so this means we're eating this for the next 3 days, huh? I said, yep. Ooh, life at Pecan Cottage. You're starting today on Labor Day? Your kids must be young and not know that it's a holiday. Ooh, Terry says eating crabs. Eat some for me. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll go to the Shell Shack here in town and get me some crabs. Huh. I just need to do something I would not normally do. One of those things. I did watch Respect. I did watch it. Michelle said I'm going to get my husband to do my crochet braids. Girl, you are winning. Yeah, little kids, they don't know there's holidays. So it works out in your favor. Yeah, I've got some, this is a great day to prepare for the week. I'm going to have one meeting with one of the girls from our team. So one of the things Monique did is she spoiled me. So she and I both like to work. So on holidays, it'd be like, so you want to meet up at a coffee shop and work on this? So I told the girls, it's a great day for me to work, but I want to, put that in its proper perspective. It's like, it's a good opportunity to get caught up. Anyway, and then I'm going to sit in that chair right there. And I have a coffee shop playlist that I found. I've got a candle that I like. And this has become a nice little she shed for me to get some writing in. So I just need to keep working on that. Good for you, Mary, for laying around for a couple of days. All right, y'all. Well, I hope that this was encouraging to you. I hope that the foolery and the fun was more fun than foolery. Or more, yeah, I guess. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But I'm going to let you go so you can enjoy your day. I'm taking up enough of your day. It's Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good time. And, yeah, and there's a lot of changes. So when you pray, say a prayer for Chrystal and team. And, the plans that we have for you. So, all right. Talk to you all later. Have a great day. Bye.